Oh man. As always, this is Saturday Night Live, right? And we just use this time to come on here to get familiar with the charts, take a look at what we think the charts might do for next week, see what we can see based on some of the strategies, techniques that we use, right? Let's see, guys. You know, when we're trying to be great, it's always something. Right. So how's everybody doing this morning or this evening, I should say?
Good.
Good.
Good, great. Okay, so I just dropped in the harmonic scanner main group, our ATR, the tracker. I just put the most recent one in there. Now, I didn't get a chance to share it last week, so come on, computer, stop acting funky. So I decided I'd share it in the main group so you guys will have it. Then that way, if you want to update it with us, you can. Otherwise, we're going to work on it together. Let's see. Has anybody been working on updating the tracker on their own by any chance? Dead silence, I take that as a no.
No, not yet. I haven't.
No, I haven't either.
Has anybody even looked at it? Are y'all familiar with what it is? So tell me who's on the call. Do I got newbies that don't know anything about it? Or I got people on here that know something about it but ain't been using it? Or who's on the call?
I'm a newbie.
Know about it.
This is Ross Serious. I'm fairly new. I have an understanding of it. I know what it is, but I'm just starting on it.
Okay.
Yes, I ditto him as well.
All right. That helps me figure it out, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. Let's see. All right, so let me ask y'all this. Are y'all new to the 52 weeks? Have y'all been on since the beginning? Or I know the newbies, obviously, you just getting started. So is everybody pretty much that's on the call just been on Debo's calls, or is there anyone that's seen any of the weeks before him?
I've only been on for 2 weeks now.
I've seen up to class 9.
I got on in the 3rd class, but I looked at the Milwaukee sauce part of it since up to class 8.
Okay, cool. All right, so we got a little variety this evening, which is good, because then that will help y'all see how even as a newbie, right, you're going to see how those individuals that started before you have already started to progress and put these things together and have their own aha moments. And at the same time, it'll give you an idea of what I look at or look for as a trader. So since I got a lot of newbies on here, and it sounds like the majority of you aren't familiar with who I am or what I do, right? I figure I'll start the class off with just that. All right, so here, let's see. Wait, boom, boom, boom. I'll even put on my camera so y'all can see me. Let me see. Can y'all see me? Y'all can see me? All right, cool. Y'all see me, right? I got all the colored hair for all the colored money.
Yeah, we see.
All right, okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jacqueline Lopez. I am the creator of the Milwaukee Sauce Strategy. I am also the co-creator of the 52 Weeks to Freedom course. Chad, Mickey, and myself created the course in order to create 1,000 master traders within 52 weeks so that all of Trade Nation is successful as a trader, since it's pretty obvious the reason why we all signed up for this educational platform is to learn how to trade, right? The residual is extra, optional, right? An added benefit. But let's be honest, I can make way more money as a trader than I can as a builder, right? So this group is for students, customers only. If you're just an IBO, then you can't be a part of the 52 weeks because you have to have an active subscription so that you have an active harmonic scanner, right? Because that's what we start you off with. That's what you learn how to trade from. If you start with a platinum package, you all should be familiar with what is included in your package. If you don't know, the harmonic scanner is our flagship product. It is what the company is founded on. It's what Christopher Terry created in order to help us learn how to trade, right? So what I have done is I have helped Chad and Mickey create basically a criteria of topics, things that we think that you should know that will help support your education in the academy. Now, the 52 weeks is not to replace the academy, guys. You have to go through your entire academy. It's only going to help support what you're learning in the academy, right? I don't have time to go over what's a pip, whether we're looking at an uptrend, a downtrend, if it's bullish or bearish. I don't have time to go over vocabulary with you. If you've noticed, we only have about an hour's worth of time, right, each week with our educators. So that being said, you have to already have that basic foundation laid before you start the 52 weeks, or you have to be a quick study, right? But that being said, I am your first educator for the 52 weeks, and I lay the foundation to help give you some added information, right? Some strategies, some theories, tools, and techniques that you can use to help support you as a trader. And if you've already started watching my classes, right, or if you've been in since our previous educator, Mr. Mark Goldfinger Fair, right, then you've already started to have aha moments and realize that each week actually is building on the next. So what you learn in week 1 is going to help you along the way. So things that I taught, right, is going to help you during your classes with your current educator, who is Debo, going over ketchup and mustard, right? So that's just a little bit about me, right? Why I'm here. I chose to do Saturday Night Lives because this is a time in which I'm looking at the markets when the market is closed, and I'm forecasting what the next week is going to do, right? Based on some of the tools and techniques that I use as a trader, right? My trading style, right, is, or I should say my trading system is based on 3 things. It's based on currency, it's based on volume, and it's based on that sauce, sugar, right? Or the scanner, however you want to look at it. So I call it CVS for short, right? So what Saturday is I use some of the tools that I teach you in the first 12 weeks to help us forecast what the market is going to do for next week, right? And the ATR is one of those tools. The ATR is what we use to tell us how many pips does each pair give out, typically on a weekly basis in any one direction. So for example, if I know that AUD NZD, let's just say it gives us 150 pips in a week, and I know that that particular pair is going to sell all week, then I know that I could safely catch typically 150 pips on that particular pair, which is why that is very, very important as a trader. If you get a signal and someone tells you go for 200 pips and your pair only gives you 100 pips in a week, it's going to take longer than a week for you to catch 200 pips on that pair, baby. So that's why I help you learn those things right up front so that you're not making silly mistakes expecting to make a whole lot of pips when the pair that you're focused on won't give you that rate of return. Does everybody understand that? Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we do on Saturdays is I come on here and I take a look at different pairs. And it don't really matter to me which pairs we looking at because I created an ATR tracker, which I posted in the main group, which we're working on as a team to collectively come up with the pip count for each pair for each week for the entire year. And I've already done a lot of the work, right? We're working on some of the weeks moving forward to bring us current. But there are some pairs that are already current. For example, we've been working on Nzd Usd. Last week we forecasted Nzd Usd. And so just out of curiosity, I want to see did Nzd USD do exactly what we thought it was going to do. Was there anybody that's on this call that was on last week's call?
No, not I.
I was.
No, I wasn't.
I had a one that was.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, it was there.
Cool. So check it out. If you remember, I asked Debo on his call to take a look at Nzd USD because we have forecasted that Nzd USD was probably going to sell. Does everyone remember that? We said it was going to sell, but that it was going to pull up, collecting some orders, right? And then it was going to shift the market back to the downside. And if you notice, this week's candle, September 21st of 2020, is in fact a red candle. Does everyone see that? Yes.
Yes, yes.
So you could actually go to my YouTube page and see the recording for last Saturday's class, right? And see how we were able to forecast what we thought it was going to do, right? So that being said, let me see if my tracker came up. Yep, it did. I'll try and pull it up for y'all. Let's see. Come on, come on. All right, boom. Let me move this on my way. All right, so as you can see, all of our Forex majors and cross pairs. All right, here's a question, because I ain't gonna show you all the pairs. How many pairs should we be looking at that are Forex pairs in the 52 weeks?
Pairs like the American flag?
5. You talk about per group?
Nope. In class 3, yes, class 3 of the first 12 weeks.
28.
28. Who said that?
Divya.
Yes, sugar. 28. Ding, 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 right? Class 3 tells us, right? How many major currencies are there?
8.
8. There are 8 major currencies. And if you pair those 8 major currencies with themselves correctly, right? There are 28 different pairs that we can trade in Forex without having to tap into any of the exotics, without having to tap into any of our digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, our commodities, our indices, any of those things. We have 28 different options to choose from. And we already know that our number one goal is to make $100,000 on one Forex pair before we trade another. Everyone is familiar with that goal?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll go back to the tracker. What we did, or what I did, is I created a way for us to keep track each week of how many pips each pair is going to give out. Right? And then based on the number of weeks, the spreadsheet will calculate for you typically how many pips each pair will give out. Right? So if you notice, the first 4 weeks of the year, based on the ATR, I know or knew that GBP AUD was giving out the most pips. It was typically giving out 437 pips in a week. And I know that Nzd Usd was giving out the least amount of pips at about 96 in a week. In any one direction, whether it goes up or it goes down, it's going to give me about that many pips over the course of a week, right? If I know that, I also know the speed of that pair. I know if that pair is moving fast on a 15-minute chart. I know if that pair is moving slow on an hour chart, right? I know how fast those pairs are moving because I know typically how many pips it's giving me, right? We've been currently working to fill this in, as you can see. And some of the pairs are almost current, and some of them we still have work to do, right? And since Nzd USD is the one that we had been working on, that's the one that is all the way current, right? So let's see, that gives me up to the 7th. No, so last week, we didn't save it in here on last week. So we'll calculate last week and we'll calculate this week, right? Because now we're working on what, 40 weeks? We're 40 weeks into the year. Is that right? Anybody know? Or are we 36 weeks in? Where are we? 18, 24,
We're about
31.
at 39, I believe.
About 30, almost 40 weeks? Okay. So here, let's do this. Let's update 40. So really Saturdays, guys, for me, isn't like a typical class. It's not where you notice on my other classes I do PowerPoints. I'm giving you vocabulary theories, breaking these things down. I'm not doing that. On these classes, all I'm doing is basically showing you how I use everything together to forecast what I'm going to do. All right, so there we go. That's 36. Then we need what, 4 more weeks? Yeah, about 4 more weeks. Okay, let's do this. You see how it's always some some technical glitches when you try to be great. Come on. You don't want to give me no insert? No, I don't want to insert a whole table. I just want you to insert some rows. Here we go. Insert. Insert. 2, 3, 4. All right. All right, so we got, what is this? 3, 3, 4. Come on. Copy. Paste. So guys, really, this is nothing but tedious work. It ain't nothing but making sure that you're planning ahead. You got to remember, this is a game that we playing.
How do we help you out?
The only thing you can help me out with is when I show you how to calculate the pip count, I need you guys to go back in and tell me what the pip count is for each week for the pairs for your groups, which will make it easier for me to simply go back in and just update the chart. Then that way we have one chart as a team. Come on. In which we can share each week so that we're working off of a most recent version. Okay, so that's 40 weeks. Okay, so tell me, what's this week after this? 9 what? What's the date for this week? 9 what? Anybody know? What's that following week? The 14th?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the next week is what? 9 what?
21st.
21 or 20?
21.
21. So that's this week, right? What's next week?
28.
28. And that's Monday. And then the next one is 10 what?
5.
10/5, 2020. All right. Okay. Yeah, sugar, I've done all the heavy lifting. We just got to go back and count all the pip counts. And as you see, some of them I've gotten pretty far, up to 32 weeks. But I'm still, I mean, it's a lot of work for me to do by myself. So let's see. Okay, so let's do Nzd USD since that's the one we've been looking at. And it's probably got the most weeks current. Yep. So last week, I don't remember what last week's count was. So we just do it together to make sure that we have it. And that was last week, the what? The 14th, right? Yep, let's go back. Okay, let's see. Share chart. All right, cool. This is the 14th? Yeah. All right, sugar. I'm going to need a volunteer. I'm going to need y'all help with this. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get my calculator together so we can open this up and see this together. So I'll share my calculator so y'all can see how I come up with these pip counts and the mathematical formula for it. All right, so here, let me stop my video. Y'all ain't got to stare at me. Y'all can just look at the charts. I'm out your way. All right, check it out. I need somebody to record the numbers. And then I'm going to click back over and share my calculator. And we're going to do the calculation together. All right, I'm getting ready to call it out.
I got
This
you.
is how we calculate our ATR. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. For the week of September 14, 2020, the high is 0.67978. 0.67978 is the high. 0.66596. 0.66596 is the low for September 14, 2020. Does somebody have the numbers?
Yeah. Do you want me to
All right.
repeat them just to make sure?
Yeah, hold on. I'll go. Wait, let me pull back to it so I don't switch on you. The high is 0.67978 and the low is 0.66596.
Okay, got it.
Got it.
You see my calculator?
Yeah.
What's the high?
0.67978.
Minus
0.66596.
596.
Give it to me again. 0.67.
Zero. No, 66596.
Start with the high. Start over.
Oh, sorry. 67978.
78 minus 0.66596.
596.
How many pips is that?
138.
138. For the sake of the ATR, we round up. So if that 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth number, that 2 is 5 or higher, we round up. If it's 4 or less, we leave it alone. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what color the candle was?
Red.
Was it?
No.
It was red. Red.
Nope. Look at the candle that my crosshair is on. This one, September 14th, 2020,
Okay,
Oh,
blue.
I'm looking at the wrong. It's
Blue.
blue.
right? Remember, you got to keep track of the color as well as your pip count because you're forecasting which direction it's going to go and for how long, in layman's terms. So we're recording in our ATR tracker that Nzd Usd for the week of September 14th, 2020 gave out 138 pips to the upside. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
138, and it was blue. All right. Let's go back to this week. Somebody ready for the numbers?
Yeah, go ahead.
For the week of September 21st, 2020, the high is 0.67778. The high is 0.67778. And the low is 0.65120. 0.65120. All right, what's the high?
Okay, I got it.
I'm ready.
67778.
And the low?
65120.
How many pips is that?
266.
Yes. Was it red or blue?
Red.
Red.
Red, red.
266. Red. Now, I want to show you something. If you look at Nzd Usd, just because I've been tracking it from week to week since the very beginning of the year, do you notice that there's a pattern that formed for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks? What did it do?
It's been going down.
Correct. So for the first 13 weeks of the year, that pair sold every week. Now let's just say, if you'd have knew it was going to sell at the beginning of the year, the first week of January, and you had a perfect entry, then you could have rolled this wave, because if we know that it's been selling this whole time, it's never gone back up to the high, has it?
No.
Exactly. And I haven't marked up any charts or anything. All I've done is calculated how many pips it gave out each week, right? So check it out. As the year continues on, for 5 weeks, it bought. 2 weeks, it sold. 11 weeks, is that 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 weeks, it bought. It sold for 2 weeks. It bought for 4 weeks. And here we are. This week it sold. Just for kicks and giggles, what does everybody think the market is going to do next week, this week coming up?
Sell.
Right? All we did was look at some candles. Look at some colors. I'm trying to tell y'all, trading made easy.
Yeah, this is good. Thank you for teaching us this.
Yeah, really good.
Right? So check it out. Come on, computer. Let's see. I know. So that I'm more accurate based on what we're looking at right now. We're in week what? 38? Yeah, 38, right? So if we're in week 38, based on the number of weeks that we have data for, right? We know that Nzd USD typically gives us 199 pips every week, right? And if you just go back and take a look, right? It has some spikes and high weeks. And we know that there was some market manipulation that took place this year, don't we? Right? Which shifted a whole lot of pairs and a whole lot of economies and a whole lot of different directions than what they're typically used to. Or they gave out a whole lot more pips than they typically do. Take a look at some of these pip counts. This pair gave out 2,000 pips in a week. Right? 1,200, 1,100, 1,200, 2,000, right? It's important to know this kind of information.
What pairs are they?
Those were, let's see, I want to say the EURs or GBPs.
Always.
Yep. Check it out. GBP NZD moved, right? The GBP odds had big spikes, right? EUR NZD had big spikes, right? I can tell you that last year when we ran the 52 weeks, GBP NZD was the pair that was giving out the most pips each week, typically. This year, with all of the market manipulation that has gone on, EUR NZD was running as high man on the totem pole. But that's why we need to complete this tracker so that we're like spot on accurate when it comes to which pairs are giving out the most pips, which pairs are giving out the least pips, and we know which direction that they're traveling in. All right, so it's giving us about 200 pips in a week. This week it gave out 266. That was a big push to the downside, but we forecasted that because it came up on different platforms. It came up on the scanner. It came up on levels, right? So we knew it was going to be a big push. We saw that, and it did, right? And it's got a lot of wick on it on both sides, right? But look at that. It's been running to the upside. Even if we went all the way down, come on.
Since the pandemic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And if this is just a homework assignment, you know, nothing like you ain't got to do it if you don't want to, but go back and take a look at all the pairs and just look what happened around this same time, the end of March. And you'll notice that the markets shifted, right? You'll also notice that if you start going back in time, check this out. It hadn't been back down to that low since March of 09. Ain't that interesting? Right?
Yeah.
Make it even more interesting for you. Check this out, sugar. Come on now, give it to me. My computer acting funny. I must need me a new mouse. Yep, there we go. I just want to show y'all something. Check it out. Look at this. Remember, I'm doing this whole analysis on this class on a weekly chart. I have not moved down to a smaller time frame. This is still a weekly chart, meaning each one of these candles you're looking at is a week. So look. Everybody sees where the market broke out from that price level?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody see where it retested it?
Yes.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Right? You see it?
Yes.
Yeah, we see it.
What touches this?
Wow.
And we already know how many touches it takes for it to continue. We already know how many touches it takes for it to break through. This is on a weekly chart. Meaning if you would have been looking at this pair, actually studying this pair, mastering this pair, you would have knew that they was going to shift this market all the way down to that level in order to collect those orders. And then they were going to shift the market back up because that is not the fourth touch. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
then isn't it safe to say that it has to return back to that level at some point or another?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Then even think about it, look at it like this. What pattern is this? Because this is what we talked about last week. If you weren't on the call, what pattern is forming on the weekly chart?
Golden finger.
Forming an M.
Is it an inverted head and shoulders?
Yes. You see it?
Yes.
On a weekly chart. You could have gone from here. Give it to me. Come on. There we go. Y'all, my mouse just don't want to act right for me today. Look at that. It will not pull it. They're going to make me draw it by hand? Let's see. Come on, sugar. It don't want to give y'all this sauce this evening. Is that what it is? The market being selfish? Look at that. It will not. Y'all, for real, it won't draw it.
It's hating on you right now. It's hating on you.
Like for real, it don't want to show me. Oh, check it out. I know how to show y'all. Better yet. Oh, dun, share. Scanner. I posted it. Boom. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Yep.
Now that's what we drew last week. This is on the weekly chart. We anticipate that it's going to sell, right? It sold all last week. And we know, or we are anticipating, that it has to go all the way down here before it completes the right shoulder. Does everybody see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And we already know that if you've been studying the scanner, that if the D is on the top on a cipher pattern, or any pattern for that matter, then we do what?
Sell.
Sell. Right? And we also know that if we form the first leg of the right shoulder, then what happens on the second leg of the right shoulder? What do?
You buy?
Bye.
Exactly. So on this particular pair, I have shown you, right? And we calculated, if I remember correctly, it's about 450, 500 pip drop from the D down here. Let's just see, 67322 to 62. That's about 500 pips, right?
Yeah.
So if it drops 500 pips, isn't it safe to say that it's going to rise 500 pips or more?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, check it out. One step further. We went down to the daily chart. And if you notice, we saw the W and the M on the daily. Everybody sees it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of last week, before the market opened, we already anticipated that it was either going to consolidate at the D and then drop. It was going to do a fake out to the upside, collect some orders, and then drop. Or it was just going to open up the week and drop. And based on what we saw all week and what we can see on the current chart, let's go to it. It did just that. Does everyone see it?
Yes.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
So what I'm anticipating for this week is it should sell based on just a weekly analysis, based on the daily analysis that we've already done last week. Because we know that this pair is typically giving us how many pips in a week?
200.
200. But it gave us 260 pips last week. And we know that it's going to drop almost 500 pips before it actually reverses to the upside, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So then all week, if you're trading Nzd USD, you should only be looking for sale opportunities. And if you can find the right sale at the right time when the market opens, then you can ride that sale all week long and possibly for the next couple of weeks. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Great.
Oh, I'm excited, Miss Jackie.
Right? And I ain't even talked about no salt sugar. Put no sauce on it yet. So I'm trying to tell y'all need to go back and watch them other weeks. Because this is the kind of stuff that you're missing out on if you jump in and you just think that, oh, I'm going to get it by just learning what the current educator is giving me. You are. You're going to be successful as a trader. But you are not going to become a market maker, a professional trader, unless you know how to trade like a market maker. And this is how they trade. You need to know where they're placing their orders because they know where you place yours. Right? All right, check it out. Let's see. Just out of kicks and giggles. Let's see. Let's put the sauce on it. Yeah. And I'll even put on one more thing, right? So if you haven't made it through my 12 weeks, everybody see that indicator on my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sauce, the 50.
All of this over here?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my VR, right? My VR gives me a different perspective when it comes to the market. The VR shows me in real time how many orders there are in each level of supply and demand. Does everyone see that? Now I know you're thinking, Sugar, what in the world are you talking about? All right, I'll give you an example. Do you notice down here? It says 17.415K times 0. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we see.
Yes.
That's 17,000 sale orders and no buyers. Flip side, at the very top, there are 52.465 thousand sellers and 174.469 thousand buy orders in this little itty bitty old block right here. Y'all see that?
So does
Yeah.
that mean
Yes, yes.
the more people that's selling, it's going to go more into a sale?
Yeah. So I'm looking at what your brokers and your bankers and your hedge funds and your mutual funds, this is what they're looking at. This is how they know how to place a stop hunt. If you notice, from here all the way down to the bottom was a large drop, but it was formed in a wick. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
The reason why is because there were more sellers from here to the bottom than there were buyers. So they pushed the market all the way down. They collected the orders. Does everybody see this number here at the bottom?
Yes.
It says
Yeah.
18.007 million
Mm-hmm.
by 17.987 million. So it went from 17,000 sale orders to 18 million. Do you see that?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
That is the
Consolidation.
market maker's order to push the market back up. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So because I have access and now you have access, you will always know when a gap is getting ready to happen in the market. Do you see the gap right here? You will always know when the buyers are stronger in the market. Why? Because as you notice, as the market was pushing up, the number of buyers were larger than the number of sellers. And in the positions where they were consolidating, those orders were running the same. They had a similar number of orders. So they
Yes,
were
yes.
very close.
So
Does everybody see that?
So
Yes.
equal amount of buyers and an equal amount of sellers is the consolidation period.
Correct. So anytime I see on my VR that the buyers and sellers, those numbers are very close in nature, during that entire block, that entire zone of supply and demand, right, is going to consolidate until the market develops enough momentum to break through in either direction, whether it's going up or whether it's going down, right? So check it out. Are there more sellers than buyers?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Right? What's happening here?
Yeah. Oh,
Or like more buyers.
More
than
buyers.
sellers.
more buyers.
More buyers. So we know once it gets down to this red line, which is what we call our POC, or point of control, which is the overwhelming majority of the orders are in that zone, then I know it's going to consolidate in that area. But I know that it's going to appear as if it's going to buy because there are more buy orders in that area. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Yes.
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 Right?
Yes.
I also know that they have to come all the way down here to my 50 to collect the rest of these orders. Do you see that?
Yes.
This gap has to be filled, right?
Yes.
And then look what happens. From here and here and here and here, the buyers start pushing. You see them? The numbers are bigger on the buyer side.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that the momentum is gonna push because where is the 50? The 50 is underneath the candles. We know if the 50 is underneath the candles, it's gonna do what? Push the market in which direction?
Up.
Up.
Up,
Right.
right? But what's happening here? You see that? What pattern is this? What does this look
M.
like?
It looks like M.
It looks
And
like an M, right?
Yes.
So then this would be the second leg of the M, correct?
yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Right? So we can safely say it's probably going to come down to here. But it's more likely it's probably going to come down to here. Right? And it's going to go up and down. Remember, guys, the market moves in waves. Look at this. It's up, down, side to side. Up, down, side to side. And it just keep hitting these same zones, same areas over and over and over again. That's it. Right? So hopefully you guys got a little extra, right, sauce this evening.
Is the VR another app?
It's an indicator. And I show you how to set it up, I think, in my last class. It's either class 11 or 12.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions, Sugar? No? All
No.
right. Then I gave you an hour. I told you what I think Nzd Usd is going to do. I also told you what type of orders I'm going to be looking for this week. Obviously, guys, I am not a licensed financial advisor. I am not here to give you financial advice as to how to invest your money. I'm simply here to show you tools, techniques, strategies, right, that I've learned over the course of my 52 weeks that we felt as leadership that you should know if you too want to become a master trader. Because there are some things that you need to be aware of that, let's just be frank, the academy is not going to give you access to, or they're not going to present it to you in the same manner in which you're going to receive it in the 52 weeks. Right? So, with that being said, I love you all, and I look forward to seeing everybody on Chad's call. And if you got any questions or concerns as it relates to anything that you're learning or you have questions about related to the 52 weeks or any of the strategies or any of the tools, techniques that we're going over, use your study groups. The educators are monitoring those groups. I monitor all of the groups, right? But you have to tell us if you need help, because we only have an hour a week with our educators in order to basically get all of the information that they can give us in a short period of time. So use your study groups. It is your greatest asset. Leverage each other, right? We are always a student. I am always a student. I'm learning just like you're learning when we have a new educator. Go ahead, Sugar. Somebody was going to say something to me?
No, I was just gonna say thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome, Sugar. Now, Saturdays is always going to be more advanced, guys, because I'm looking at big picture things. I'm looking at macroeconomics. Anybody that has a business or finance background, that's what we're doing. We're looking at global and international economics, right? How money works globally. So that's what we forecast. What is going to happen over the course of a week, a month, a season. And when we finish with the ATR, we will be able to forecast what will happen over the course of a year. We will see the patterns in the market so that we know we're getting ready to come into giving season. We know what's going to happen with the market. We know how they're going to manipulate it and shift it in the direction they want it to go. Study supply and demand, cause and effect, effort and result. Those are all laws that I go over in the first 12 weeks. All right. Study your pairs. Find one that suits you, that moves at the right time. That's something else I talk about in the 12 weeks. When should you be trading your pair? Because your pair will not move all day long.
Do we choose which pairs we want to assist you with as far as the ATP?
I will save the version that we worked on tonight. Matter of fact, let me save it now. And then I'll post it in the group. Oops. Then that way we can work on it. Whichever study group you're in, guys, just take a pair and work on it together. And then just finish up the weeks that I haven't finished. And then let me know which weeks you did for which pairs, and I'll fill in my tracker so that when I share it, we'll have one completed tracker that we're working from week to week. That makes sense?
Okay.
Okay.
That works.
I think that's probably going to be our easiest way to do it. Let's see. I think here, let me try and drop it in the group right now. Come on, give it to me. Save it. And then let's go. Nope. Let me see. Let me close it and then I can save it. And it'll let me drop it in the group for y'all. And that way y'all got the most current version of it with tonight's numbers. Now I will have to go back and change NZD's number next week to make it go back to calculate next week's numbers, but that's an easy fix when we add up the other weeks. Let's see, ATR tracker, new version, complete, study group pairs. So we have a tracker to work from. All right. Boom. I just posted it in the group. All right, guys. Then that's it. If y'all can help me this week, if you got some free time, just help me figure out what those numbers look like. And then we just gonna update it and go from there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good evening, everybody. Have a good morning, and I'll see everybody on Chad's
Have a
call.
good night.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. See you guys.